Hello and welcome to Sarah's Stamping Retreat. Today we're going to be creating some cards with some beautiful backgrounds, and I was inspired to do this by this month's Spellbinders Club. So we're going to be using a selection of this month's clubs to create the cards, because there are some really beautiful products to create gorgeous backgrounds in the clubs. And we're going to be using some of the machines today, like hot foil machine and better press machine, that I know not everybody has. But I think that we can work around those things, like maybe you've got a background stamp that you could heat emboss to create a similar look, or maybe you've got some pattern paper that you could use instead. So I think if you don't have the machines, then have a little shop around your collection and see what you could replace them with. So the first card that we're going to create, I'm going to use a hot foil plate in the background. And this month's Spellbinders Clubs have a bit of a sea theme. So we've got this kind of net hot foil plate, and you can see it's big enough to do an entire card front. And then we've got 3 sentiments to go with that. We've got throw your net wide this year, cast a net full of wishes, and happy birthday. And you've got this die that can cut those out as well. And then each month you also get a full roll of glimmer foil. So this month it's this opal, which is really pretty, but I'm actually going to use this one, which is the satin pewter, which was from one of the recent months. I can't remember whether it might have been last month or not, but it's this really pretty kind of oystery type colour that I thought would be really nice on this card. And that's the thing that I love about it, because you get different colours, you build up your collection, and then you can kind of shop your collection for the colours that you want. So I've got a blue card base, and I'm going to foil the whole card front. So I'm going to cut a piece of this foil to fit my card front. So I want to have the card front, then the foil with the pretty side up, then I'm going to add on my hot foil plate, and then I'm going to tape that down. And this one I'm just going to wrap around this end so that it's covering the whole front. So then I've got my hot foil machine. I know that it's up to temperature because the green light's on. So then I'm going to put this on with the plate side down. I like to put it at a little bit of an angle just so that it goes through my die cutting machine a bit more easily. And I'm just going to press the timer. When this stops flashing, then I can put it through my die cutting machine. So now that it's stopped flashing, I can put it through my hot foil machine. I'm going to put on a cardstock shim just because it's a big hot foil plate and I'd like a little more pressure. Then I'm going to put on my hot foil plates, and I can run that through my die cutting machine. So then I can undo this and take a look at what we're left with. And you can see that looks really pretty. So then I'm going to decorate this using the die of the month. I think it's called the small die of the month actually, which to me it's anything but small. But we've got this cute walrus. We're not going to use the bird today, but obviously you can use that together with it or separately as well. I'm just going to use the walrus today. So we're going to make this up. So all of these pieces fit on really nicely, and you can see, I'm not sure if you'll be able to see on camera, but there's embossed lines on the die so that you can see exactly where they go, and it makes it so easy to put them together. Actually, what I should have done is put these on before I put the face bit on. They're supposed to go under there, so let me just try and slide them under. The easiest thing to do, I think, is to just glue the teeth underneath the kind of cheek bits before you add it onto here, because there's actually bits on the teeth to show where they're supposed to go under here, so it'd be easy to do that. This is my first time putting it together, so I think first time you always learn a little bit, don't you? And there's actually even indentations to show where the whiskers go as well. It's all really well put together. Now he's got a cute little hat from the top of his head as well. There's my little walrus finished. So I've also hot foiled the castanet full of wishes in the same foil onto the same colour of blue cardstock. So I'm going to pop that up on there, and then I'm also going to pop up my cute walrus. And then how cute is that now? So for this next card we're going to use the stencil of the month. So we've got this background stencil, and then we've got 3 other stencils. So you can see this one I've added to my grippy mat over my card blank, and then these ones layer on top, so you can see that you get this wavy sea at the bottom, and then you get these kind of like bubbles here, so you could have those instead. So you actually get 2 layered backgrounds. So I'm just going to add some Distress Oxide ink onto here. And I'm going to start with peacock feathers. Then I'm going to take off that layer and I'm going to add on the next layer. And this one I'm going to do in the salty ocean. And then I'm going to add on the 3rd layer, and I'm going to go back to the peacock feathers with this. So then I'm going to make a mask. So I'm going to use that top layer, and I'm just going to add it onto some masking sheet, and I'm just going to add a bit of the ink through. I only need that top level. And then I'm going to grab some scissors, I'm going to cut along that top line. And then what I'm going to do is just add this mask over there, and then I can ink up the top bit of my card. So then I'm going to add on some abandoned coral just along that bottom bit there. And then I'm going to go into some saltwater taffy, and then some shaded lilac, and then I'll finish off at the top with some stormy sky. Now I'm going to go back down with the colours again to get the best blend possible. So then I'm going to take off my mask. Now we've got this kind of nice sunset scene. So then to decorate this card, I'm going to use this cute little boat. So this little boat is the free gift that you get if you buy the deluxe caboodle this month. So the deluxe caboodle gives you all 10 of this month's clubs, but for a really reduced price. So it's £130 in the UK or $130 in the US. Really good value for money. And you also get a free gift, and this little boat is the free gift that you get this month. So it's a little die set, really, really cute. And I'm just putting it together, and this colour that I've used at the back is just some normal Kingston Crafts cardstock, but the other cardstock that I'm using is some adhesive back cardstock from Diamond Press that I really like. It's really nice for putting on these little pieces. You can just peel off the back and it's like a sticker. So then that will fit really nicely there. So I've taken this cloud die, that is from the large die of the month, and I'm going to add that in the background here. And that's the thing that I love about these clubs. They all work really well together. So if you're buying more than one, you know that it's only going to increase the number of things that you can do with them, because you can kind of mix and match them all. Also, if you want to see any of the clubs in more detail or see all of the clubs together, I always do a little kind of sneak peek video at the beginning of each month with all the clubs, just showing them. So you can go check that out if you want to see more. So I'm just popping that boat up on the foam pads. And then this, I've just hot foiled in that same hot foil we used for the last card, and that happy birthday is from the hot foil set that I showed you before as well. And I'm just going to pop that on here as well. So then we've got our cute card. So for this next card, I've got a white card base measuring 4 1/4 by 5.5 inches. Then this piece is 3 3/4 by 5 inches, and it's just ordinary cardstock, but I'm going to use it in my Better Press. So although the Better Press cardstock is the best for getting that letterpress impression, I actually use loads of different cardstocks in my Better Press machine because I don't always need the letterpress look. Sometimes I just want a really nice detailed stamped image. So this Better Press of the month has the background plate which we're going to use, and then there's 2 sentiments. This is prototype packaging, it's not the nice beautiful packaging you'll get yours in. So this one says sending a net full of thanks, and then you've also got casting a warm hello your way. So I'm going to pop this in here. I'm going to add my blue cardstock onto my Better Press plate, and when I'm using a full image like this, I just like to roll up a little bit of tape and pop it on there to hold this on. So then I'm going to use the Crystal Violet Ultra New Fresh Dye Ink. The fresh dye inks work really nicely on here. I'm just going to ink that up. And then I can pop that through my die cutting machine. And you can see that although you don't have the letterpress, you get a really nice crisp stamped image, which is really lovely. And I think that's sometimes hard to achieve with normal stamps. It's really simple in the Better Press. Also, don't forget that if you have a hot foil machine, you can use your Better Press plates in there as well. So then I'm going to use this sending a net full of thanks. I'm going to add that to my Better Press. And then if I lay this over, I can see that I kind of want to line it up with the top of that A2 mark for this to be at the bottom, because I don't want to waste paper. And this time I can just tape it down normally because I don't need to use the whole piece. And this time I want to heat emboss, so I'm just going to ink this up with my Versamark ink. And then I can add this on and pop it through my machine. And then I'm just going to heat emboss this in white embossing powder. And then I can just cut that out with the coordinating die. So then we've got our sentiment. And then I've got this cute seagull. And this seagull is from the stitching die of the month. There's actually no stitching on the seagull itself. But again, this is a really flexible set. I do think this seagull's so cute. He's got his little stripy jumper. Can add his legs on under there. And again, I've used the sticky paper from Diamond Press, which makes it all loads easier because I can just take off the backing and add them on. Apart from these grey bits, I didn't have any grey sticky back paper. And it's got a little cheek indent, but rather than put a little die cut piece, I'm just going to add that in with a little bit of alcohol marker. So then I'm ready to pop my card together. So I'm going to add my background on with some foam. So I add that on there. Then I'm going to add my sentiment on with foam as well. And then I can also pop up my lovely seagull. And then how cute's that? So in there we've got 3 cards, all created with different background ideas. And I think creating different backgrounds is a really nice way to kind of stretch your die cutting supplies as well, because for example you could add this one onto this background and get a different look for it. So a different background can really change up the whole card. So I really hope that you enjoyed creating today's cards with me today. I'd love to know which is your favourite. Please do let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed today's video, I'd really appreciate you clicking like below. You can also press subscribe if you'd like to see future videos. If you press the bell button and select all, then YouTube will also notify you when I've got a new video available. All of the products that I used for today's cards are listed in the description below. And there's also a link there to my blog where you can find a picture supply list if that helps you find what you're looking for. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope to see you again soon.